Hi guys, and happy Friday. Happy Friday off. Oh, I have a 4-day weekend, and Raymond T. Vinyl has a 4-day weekend too. So we are very, very happy. It's so nice to have extra days off from work. And no frills, nothing like that. I am just completely burnt out because this morning, first thing, I laid all the mulch. One night this week, we went to Home Depot. Home Depot had a sale on mulch, $2 for a 60-pound bag. And I bought 8 bags for my gardens. Blanca bought, I think, 15 for her front and backyard. And then we went to King Falafel after. So it was very, very fun. We sat on the patio, we brought our own brews, and we had the most delicious falafel, the best falafel in town. So it was very, very fun. But that was a lot of work. And let me tell you something, I was going to be on the deck today, and the wind whipped up. It was so bad. I couldn't put the umbrella up. Stuff was flying off the trees. There was no way to sit outside, even though they're not working on that house, so it would have been quiet and perfect. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. Look. I hope I don't have the music too loud, but I thought with the wind, you wouldn't be able to hear it in the background. So anyway, we're drinking a lager especial from Dos Equis, one of my favorite brews, Dos Equis. I love it for summer. Very, very nice. So after I laid the mulch, it took about, let's see, it took about 3 hours. It wasn't so bad, but these old bones can't really take it, and my hip, my right hip is just throbbing today. My bad hip, it's so bad, and I didn't know if I would be able to get out and about, but I did. I went to the Thrift, went to the liquor store, I went to the garden center, but I could not go any further. I couldn't go to Aldi or anything for tomorrow's barbecue. I'll have to do that in the morning. But the Thrift was fun. I didn't find all that much, but I found some really cool things, and I did have $5 in points, so I got some money off today, which I always love. I got this beautiful planter, and it's, you know, another wrought iron planter, very, very pretty, or plant stand, let's say. And I went to Metropolitan Plant Exchange and got this beautiful, beautiful plant to put on it. Here it is. That was a really cool thing. I think it cost me $4.99. The plant stand, really, really cheap. I found another Circulo de Amigos. Look at that. This is a circle of 3, and they're holding a bowl instead of having just their arms around each other with the ball down on the ground in the middle. I love these things, and I can't believe how many I have found over time, and I really, really love these. So I was really happy to find that. Other than that, all I found was, I found this cribbage board, this old Pressman cribbage board. Now the reason I got this was because I know cribbage boards have pegs, and I thought this would be great for the shopping list. Remember the 40s, 50s shopping list thing? I thought the pegs would be perfect, and they are, but I didn't know that cribbage boards only have like 6 pegs. So it wasn't really enough, and because I don't know anything about cribbage, but it's kind of a mid-century game, so maybe I'll try and learn it, because you know me and vintage board games, I love them, or games, I love them. I got this really cool little spatula, never used. It was definitely bought as a souvenir because it's from Belmont Park. Belmont Park, which is the New York City horse track. Very, very fun. I love it. I love the size of it. To flip, like when I'm grilling potatoes and stuff, the big spatula doesn't cut it, and neither do the tongs very well. And then I got this, the potato bag. This is so cool. I've never seen anything like this, but I thought this was a really fun way to store the potatoes. I really like it. 100% cotton, wash cold water, hang dry, and you store your potatoes in there. I love that. I thought that was really fun. Very old schooly. So I got one more thing in the thrift, and it was fence art, and I hung it right here. And it was those beautiful grapes, and I loved them. I just loved them. So it was a quick little trek to the thrift. And you know, no way I'm going to miss out on a thrift track on a day off. So I did that despite the pain. But you know, we pushed through it. We worked through it. I got all my mulching done, and I was so happy about that. And it just looks so, everything looks done. But now the wind is whipping, and it's blowing pieces of leaves everywhere, and the perfect mulch is now has pieces of you know what I mean, pieces of leaf, and the little flowers that are coming off the trees are on the mulch, and oh my god, you just can't. If you go that crazy, you will drive yourself crazy. Like Blanca said, she's not putting her mulch down till June after everything falls. I said, you know what, it don't matter, because no matter when you do it, stuff's gonna fall on it, you know? Alright, now Trevor did or has done some videos about ghosts or ghostly encounters, and I thought I would share with you some of the ghostly encounters that I have had in my life, and one that a friend of mine had. Very, very interesting. I mean, I am a certified ghost hunter, and this is my ghost hunting kit, so I'm going to show you that too. Here are my certifications right here. And I find when you go out hunting and seeking contact, it doesn't come to you as easily as if you're not even seeking it. They're just wanting to come to you. And we've had some very, very interesting experiences. So the first one is when Blanca's father died. She lived about an hour and a half away from her father, and she was cleaning up from a previous night's party. Now Blanca was a total skeptic. She never had any kind of psychic experienced before, and she total skeptic. So when she says something happened, you know that something definitely happened. And so she was out in the yard on a Sunday morning cleaning up from the night before. They had a birthday party, and she stopped suddenly and felt very strange. And she said that she felt it from her feet all the way up through her body and out the top of her head. And she said when it released through the top of her head, it started to downpour. And then the phone rang, and it was her mother telling her that her father passed away. So she is certain that her father came to her that moment to say goodbye. And it gives me chills because I always cry when I hear this story, but I know that that's absolutely the case. I'm totally certain of it. Another time, we were at Ringwood Manor, which is kind of like a state park, you know? And they have a beautiful old mansion that you can tour at times. And they said the mansion is very haunted. And then they have a little coffee shop where they have Victorian teas and things like that. And we always used to go there to go to the old cemetery. And the old cemetery was about a mile out. So we used to take the dogs, take all that ghost hunting gear, and go way down through the woods to the cemetery. Always tried to capture stuff in the cemetery because it was very, very old. On our way back from the cemetery this trip, we got an overwhelming smell of chocolate chip cookies or cookies, somebody baking. And we're like, oh my God, smell it. We were quite far from the house, and we were like overwhelmed by this smell of baking. So we said, you know what, when we get back to the house, we'll go to the coffee shop, have a coffee, and see what they're baking, you know? So we got closer to the house, and we said, what time is the coffee shop open? She goes, oh, it's not open. It's only open when we have these Victorian tea parties. And we were like, what is that baking? There was somebody who was baking. She said, no one is in there. No one is in there. So, ghostly baking? I don't know. But that day I took a lot of pictures of Ringwood Manor. And two of the ghosts in Ringwood Manor are a butler and a maid. Now the butler is, they say, is kindly. And the maid is a mean ghost, a nasty ghost. So I took a lot of pictures around the house that day, and I captured this picture. It's going to be hard to see, I think, here, but when you can see it close up in person, it's very, very distinct. Maybe you can see it. We'll see when I upload it here. But it looks very much like a butler in the upstairs window. And he looks like he's leaning over. He's got the black suit, and he's leaning over and looking out the window. And I didn't see it when I was there, but when I loaded the pictures when I got home, it was there, sure enough. And that was very cool. So I definitely saw the butler. I definitely saw the butler. Another time, it was in the evening. We were coming home from a Portuguese restaurant, and the car, something happened to Blanca's car. This was years ago. Something happened to Blanca's car. I guess something hit the oil pan and punctured it, and the car broke down. I mean, it just died. You know, the engine seized in the fast lane on Route 46 in Clifton. And the road went like this right before it died, like a hill. So there's the car dead in the fast lane, and she's like, we have to go to the side of the road. And I was like, no, I can't move. I was petrified to cross the highway. We would have had to go across at least 4 lanes, and I can't do it, I can't do it. She goes, you have to do it. So we did. She got me to the grassy area. I was freaking out because she kept going back to the car, and I was like, I was literally screaming, "Why are you going back to the car? Somebody's gonna come over that hill and hit it. It's in the fast lane." I was freaking out, freaking. All right, 2 guys. We were in a grassy knoll. There was nowhere for them to have come from. They didn't have a car parked. 2 guys were holding both of my arms and just trying to calm me down, because I literally was freaking. And they were going, "It's okay, it's okay." They were telling me, like, they were calming me down. They were trying to calm me down. Cops came. I was with these guys the whole time. Blanca kept running back to the car. I was like freaking. So these guys stayed with me the whole time. The cops came. They asked, they were talking to me, and I said the guys were helping me. And they said, "What guys?" I said, "Those guys." And they were not. There was no guys anywhere to be found. There were 2 young men. They were gone. And it was an open area where if they were walking, you could see them. There was nowhere to hide. You know what I mean? Poof, they were gone. They were there to comfort me, and then they were gone. And I believe, like I said to my father, I said, I think maybe those 2 guys were killed in an accident in that area, in that spa, or something. And they just came back to comfort me for those moments, and then disappeared. And that's God's honest truth, just mind blowing. We were looking like, those guys, it was like unbelievable. And I think probably the coolest encounter of all was a crazy, wild electrical storm that we had here in the yards. And at the time, the neighbors that lived here before me had a little girl who was very sensitive to things. And she was walking around her yard after this electrical storm, and she felt something, and she turned and took a picture. And the guys, her father and uncle, came running through my yard and said, "There's somebody out here in the yard." And I was like, "No." I said, "I've been sitting here after the storm and no one ran by, or no one came through the yard." So I said, "Cecilia, let me see the picture." And she showed me the picture. I said, "Oh my God, email me that picture." I said, "That's not a person, that's a ghost." And it was a Victorian dressed lady, or I'm going to say probably Victorian or early century dressed woman with a little blonde-haired girl peeking out from around her skirts. And you know how electrical energy, like extreme electrical energy, we had a severe electrical storm. It was a very scary storm. Produces a lot of this kind of ghostly activity. So here was the lady with the little girl peering around her skirt. Cecilia sent me the picture. I was like, this picture to me is probably the most amazing capture I've ever seen. But I did send it to the New Jersey Ghost Hunters, and they said it's a fake. And I said, well, not if you knew this kid. She didn't have computer savvy. We're talking about, let me see if I have the year on my gear. I don't. But she wasn't computer savvy. She lived with her grandmother. She took that picture on a flip phone. It was before the time when we had all those Photoshop and photo programs, and the picture just blew me away. And I did some research on the property after I got that picture, and the whole area from the river to the Saddlebrook Railroad tracks was all owned by one farmer. And his name was, hold on, let me think. I didn't make notes for this. I'm just talking off my head. Cadmus. His name was Cadmus. And the street down behind is named after him. So this was his farm at one time, a huge amount, all through the hill. The whole place was his farm, all the way down to the river. And she probably came back. It probably was a place that she loved, and the storm just prompted the energy. It was just remarkable. And I'm going to show you the picture right here. Now, I didn't alter the picture at all. All I did was, you know, crop it to bring it closer so we could see her better. Very, very cool. So those are my main ghost stories. I did have, for days after that, I was out there on the deck with my gear trying to record, asking her questions, see if she would talk to me. But she never did, and we never saw her again. When I first moved into my house, which was my grandmother's house, I used to smell her perfume all the time. And my grandmother had a very, very distinct perfume that you can't, you know, miss. It was not mistakable. It was a violet. It was a special violet perfume that she bought in Bermuda. And so I knew as soon as I used to smell her all the time. Blanca had one more, now that I'm talking about this, Blanca had one more very cool experience. And this time she was at a psychic. Now, I always thought it was funny that she would go to psychics because she was such a she was such a skeptic. But she always wanted to see what they would say, you know, and see if she could catch them up in something or whatever. And this person didn't know her from anyone, you know, had no clue who she was. It was in Patterson. And when Blanca was a little girl, when she was born, her father dedicated her to Santa Barbara, Saint Barbara. So it's something that Cuban people did. They would dedicate their child to a specific saint, and that was the saint that Blanca's father was very aligned with. And they had a life-size Santa Barbara in their house and everything. So Blanca's listening to the lady talk, and the lady goes, Santa Barbara is standing behind you. And Blanca was like, the lady had no idea. She never mentioned anything about herself. Santa Barbara was standing behind Blanca right then and there. So her father dedicated her to him, and she's with her all the time. So there you go. If you don't believe, hey, I think it's very, very true. So anyway, let's go through the ghost hunt kit. I got this beautiful, very, very vintage little bag. Looks like elephant hide. I mean, it's beautiful. Me and Skeety bought this somewhere. I have my tag on it. I don't know if you can see it. My tag, Tinker's witch hunting gear. Love it. I have my clipboard for notes. I have my headphones to go through all of the EVPs. Very, very important. Go through your EVPs, see what you captured on video. We have our miniature video recorder and microphone. Miniature video recorder is always good. You take it to the cemetery wherever you're hunting. Very, very fun. We have heavy duty tape measure. We have another digital voice recorder. Very, very important. Always got to carry extra batteries. We have a mini temperature gun. Shoot this around the room and see where temperature changes occur, because that could be a hot spot for ghosts. Then we have the main temperature gun right here. Very, very fun. When you find the cold points, that's a good place to start. Or if you feel some activity, if this thing registers a lower temperature, there could be some activity there. Very, very fun. Oh, this is a cell sensor. This is an EVP meter. An ecto, I forget what this is called. It's been so long since I used it. You've probably seen the ghost hunters use these. This will tell you if there's any electromagnetic energy in the room or in the area where you're hunting. The meter will tell you. So you could tell if anything changes. Like whenever I used to bring, whenever I brought antique things home, I would often use this meter on them and see if any, if I got any, if it would register at all, so that we could see if there was any ghost possibly connected with that. We have, of course, a flashlight. I have 2 dowsing rods in here because these are useful. These are very, very useful also because when the electromagnetic field on the earth changes, these will move also. So that's pretty fun. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and I know that Trevor is really, really into ghostly encounters, and since he does seem to have some ghosts in his house, in his apartment, he really should look into getting some of the gear and research it further. There might be somebody out there that wants to talk to him, and he can load it to the computer, play it back. Very, very fun. So anyway, that is, we got some blank little Sonys, mini Sonys. We got ghost dowsing instructions when I got my dowsing rods. Just a beautiful thing. This is a Nups leather goods bag from Peoria, Illinois. Just a beautiful, beautiful bag. And this holds all my ghost hunting gear for many, many years now. So very heavy duty, very beautiful. I don't remember where we found it. Some antique show or antique shop somewhere when we were out and about. Very, very fun. I also have Happy Hauntings engraved on the tag. Very, very fun. So anyway, if you're interested in ghostly things and paranormal activity, look into some ghost hunting. The Michigan Ghost Watch Society, very, very good, and the New Jersey Ghost Hunter Society, both, I'm members of both of those. Very, very fun. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. A little bit different. I kept promising Trevor that I would be doing that at some point. Hope you enjoyed the ghostly stories. Very fun. I don't talk about them that much, so when I do, I get really excited. That was really, really fun. So a couple of thrift things, a beautiful day, all the mulching done, wow, and a day off. Oh, so happy. So wearing my, I got dust on me now, wearing my Sideshow Tink tank. And if you want yours, links will be below like usual, t-shirts or tank tops. I love you for your support. It does help me grow the channel. I do get some money for them. And I hope you're all having a magical, mystical, musical day. I love you all. Comment, subscribe, spread the love. I love you all. Mwah.